Is Tana falling off? Alright, so basically Tana just dropped an album, right? It's called Bana, which I will go over. And something really interesting about it is, although the reaction to it has been very positive, and I'll kind of go through some of the album, what I thought about it, and etc. Tana as an artist and his entire career is kind of like flailing. If that makes sense. It's kind of like holding onto a thread, you know what I mean? And I'll explain why and whether or not he's quote unquote fallen off. Alright, so first of all, on April 26, 2024, which is like 2 weeks ago, Tana dropped his album Bana. Alright, there were some cool songs on there, you know, it was cool. There was very positive reactions to it. Like I said, for example, one person said Tana actually made anthems on this album. It's a real tape. This other post said, they were just promoting his album, and everyone was showing love, you know what I mean? And he actually dropped an album trailer, and he basically said like, yo, Atlanta was very inspiring to me on this album, which if you listen to it, it's pretty obvious. And he said he was just making a bunch of songs and he realized, wait, this is like a whole album. Okay, this one guy did call it trash with like a gif. And of course, someone asked if he was gay. I guess you can ask him that in person. Fishy love fish. However, there wasn't really too much, I would say, talk about this. For example, like on Reddit, on r/hiphop heads, which, you know, he's an underground rapper, so I'm not expecting too much. He got like 25 upvotes on there, or the post about his album. Another person posted his album in the SoFago subreddit, and this kind of this kind of explains what I mean by no one really knows or is really tapping into Tana. He said, I have no idea what to expect. I haven't been keeping up with the snippets, if any. And people were very, very, very positive. Once again, Tana's extremely tough. Him and Fago should definitely collab. I've never seen Tana get this much love in a comment section. Good to see though. Yeah, most of the time they're calling him like a zestball and saying some not so nice things about him. You know, people are just showing him love. And you know, if you look at Tana's Spotify, this guy is huge, bro. Like 1.3 million monthly listeners, a song with 130 mil, a song with 60 mil, a song with 40 mil, a song with 10 mil, a song with 40 mil, a song with 16 mil. This dude is putting up numbers. And even his recent singles like Decatur, it's Decatur, right? Sorry, I'm not from Georgia, I have no clue. It's Decatur? Yeah, okay, thanks for correcting me there. Jesus Piece and Designer Things, they all have like good streams. I would say like he's still putting up numbers that artists that are quote unquote at the top of the underground like Osama-san are, you know what I mean? Actually no, Flex Music got way more streams than this. What's also very interesting to me about Tana is something I guess he never really thought about, and you know, how could you blame him? He was so young. When he was coming up, all of his music was like TikTok hits. So 14, Antisocial 2, Fear No Man, Prada, maybe not Prada, like Off the Leash, of course. Those were all TikTok hits. And the way he would promote his stuff was he would post a bunch of snippets on TikTok, get people to do it. He'd do all that thing. He'd get a little buzz on there, and then, you know, people would make it go up on TikTok or through TikTok, right? So, you know, that's how things would kind of pan out for him. What this kind of resulted in was just people being into like certain songs and not actually becoming a fan of him, even though he has built somewhat of a fan base. And that's why when he drops projects, people don't actually tune into them. Like when he dropped Gaultier, it was pretty solid, but no one really tuned in like that. The other thing as well, I believe that he made a mistake on his end is if you notice Osama-san, what he did, and that was very smart that he did, was he dropped a bunch of projects while he was hot. He didn't just do singles, he dropped tapes. Now this also works if you're a mixtape rapper like Osama-san, and you know, you can even say Yeet was early on, and he just drop, you know? Tana wasn't really like that. He dropped a lot of music and singles here and there, but he never dropped like projects like that. And I think he's kind of suffering the consequences of doing so right now. So that's definitely one of the reasons why I think he's not doing as well. The other reason I think he's not doing as well is because he lacks original inspiration. So one of the songs, and not completely, he's not like a clone, but it's like he takes heavy inspiration from Young Thug. So he has this one song on the album called Because of Me. It's actually my favorite song on the album. But I was listening, I was like, hold on, this sounds like a Young Thug album. And I only know this because like, I don't even know how I know this. But basically, Young Thug has this song from one of his tapes, like his mixtapes called The Leak. It dropped in like 2015. And you can even see that someone said, yo, Tana just recreated the song. And he didn't recreate it. He just kind of like, he did recreate it actually. He didn't steal the lyrics or even the flow per se. He just kind of like, you could basically tell this song inspired that song, you know? So what I'm trying to go with here is that Tana, when he first came out, you know, he was young. He had like this, I don't know, it was like this generic version of underground music, kind of, but he was young and he was a little different, and he had this sort of, they used to call it like mosh pit rage, but now what he's doing is, it's cool. He's curated a very cool sound. He's very definitely evolved, and I think he's also found who his lane and his people are. I'm pretty sure he like messes with the Rolling Thrax, Southside Silhouettes, so like the more like Destroy Lonely-ish side, like Umbrella, you know, he's into that type of stuff. But his recent stuff has been super inspired by Young Thug, you know what I mean? He's trying to be like on some Atlanta.
Who is Baby Santana?
That guy's like 30 years old, so yeah, he has no clue.
Sigma, 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 skibbity, 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 skibbity. TikTok Riz Party. Ooh, ooh. I don't know what none of those things are, but people have been sending that in my DMs, and I've just been watching them nonstop. Netspin Nuggets. Sigma. So I just been keep saying that for the last like couple of hours, and I can't stop. So I'm kind of messing with it. But for the most part, Tana. Is Tana really falling off? No, I don't think Tana's falling off. I just really think he's just going to be an underground legend. I don't really think he's just going to be this kid that goes up into the mainstream world just because, for the sake of it. One thing is his whole aesthetic, Tana's whole aesthetic, which is Baby Santana, is him being 14. As much as I love Antisocial, I love you little kids having fun, you cannot keep talking about your age. That was a horrible move. I don't know who his PR team was at the time. I don't know if it was Cash Dami or one of you idiots, but for the most part, he keeps saying he's 14, he's killing the rap game, was the dumbest move of all time. The reason why, people are gonna have that image and brain in their head for the rest of their lives. And that's the reason why Maddox isn't blowing up either, especially because he was independent at the time and there wasn't a lot of money flowing, and when you're independent, everything comes out of pocket way more, and you know, instead of signing with a label. But for the most part, him being 12 at that time was bad for his career as well, because you guys are going to stay in that image for the rest of your life.
Anyways, because of his lack of originality, he never really built like a core fan base. Tana's one of those artists that just like everyone knows, but you don't find people that are like really like into him, you know? And because of that, I think it really has hurt his not trajectory, but his recent drops. The one thing about Tana though is like he rarely misses. He doesn't really drop bad music. You know what I mean? Like, you know how people would say that about D Savage back in the day? They'd be like, all right, he may be a little crazy. He may beef with everyone. He might have gotten completely embarrassed by Cardi, but he doesn't miss. Like, one thing about D Savage is he would always drop hard music, you know? Tana's kind of like that too. He's just a bit more quantity. He just drops more, you know, quantity wise. Anyways, what do you think?
I really like that Tana album, but it's like, there's something about it. Like I honestly, I listened through it once and it was like so good to me, and I was like texting all my friends like, yo, this 10 album is crazy, but for some reason I just didn't feel the urge to come back to it. Like maybe it's because it's just so like derivative of everything else, but I don't even think that's it. I don't know, it just didn't really stick in my head. It just felt kind of normal to me, but I could acknowledge how good it was, but I just didn't really want to come back and listen to it.
So his whole aesthetic was him being 14. That's one. Second, he was changing his sound way too much, and he didn't really have a distinct sound to him. He was going on glow beats. He was rapping on Destroy Lonely beats. He was rapping on Plug and B, and he was just keep bouncing the sound, and people don't really know what you are. It's just like being a content creator. I can't have a YouTube page and just post Madden clips, and then post anime clips, and then post underground rap, and then post pop rap, and then post mainstream rap. I have too many things on a channel. I have to stick to one thing right now for this point being, just for this point being in my career, until I become bigger than my YouTube channel, like a Kai Cenat or a Corey Kenshin, where I can talk about everything now. But in this point of my career right now, which is my underground career, my you know the least popular career in my stage right now, you cannot keep switching sound to sound and sound to sound. And the reason for that is he was too young. So when you're doing that at a young age, you go through a lot of phases in your life. You drop a lot of sounds that you think were trash. Oh, you think this one's fire? You drop that one. You drop this one. Oh, you pick up this one. And you keep just juggling a bunch of sounds, and people can't keep up with it. That's one. And the second thing, he was inspired by a lot of underground rappers that didn't blow up either. So he was inspired by Doo-Wop Kane. He made a lot of gay jokes, you know.
I feel exactly the same way you feel. I listened through it and I liked like 2 songs, and then like 2 songs that I would actually listen to on repeat, and then Because of Me was the only one I really listened to, like kept listening to. And then afterwards I realized, wait, I don't know, sometimes underground artists, they evolve and they get so polished that they kind of lose everything that made them underground or in that scene. You get what I'm saying? Like a regular artist could have dropped this album and you would have thought nothing. It just sounds like a mainstream regular album. It doesn't sound, there's no like uniqueness to this. A lot of times they say this in like business as well. They'll say the reason someone succeeds is because they have an edge. They're really good at like, I don't know, they could be really good at writing. They could be really good at, I don't know, coding. They could be really, and what they do is they kind of like replace themselves and they get rid of that. So thinking they'll get bigger. And then what happens is they lose their edge and it's like, oh, you're just like everyone else. I think artists, they do the same thing sometimes. They have like a moat, or they have this edge. Like Tana was kind of his age and is different, and how he's different, and just the way he kind of like positioned himself, and you know, his uniqueness, and he's kind of washing it out by being like not a Young Thug clone, but you know, heavily inspired by him. And he's just losing his uniqueness and what people really liked him for. They don't really want to hear you on like some, I don't know, I wouldn't want to, like Tana can sing, but I wouldn't want to hear him on R&B. Tana has a really nice voice, but I don't really want to hear him on music like this. You know what I'm saying? Jesus Piece was hard, by the way, Decatur too, but it's just, I don't know, it's just not like, it sounds a little too basic in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think this Young Thug thing is just like an era. Like, it's not gonna be in like a long-standing piece of his career. But
that's another thing. They used to make fun of Tana. They're like, bro, Tana's had like 10 different like personas by now, like Destroy Lonely, this, that, like you know. But he's also very young, so can you even blame him? Like, yeah, kids go through phases.
I think like the young thing definitely plays a big role in it, and it's also like a weird part about it too, because you think that someone that young wouldn't have lost their edge, so to speak. Like kind of a similar thing with Matt Ox. Like he kind of had that edge coming in with the
Doo-Wop
X.
Doo-Wop Kane. You know, Doo-Wop Kane had the same thing. It's just Doo-Wop just doesn't care at all. But I feel like, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, okay, so Matt Ox blew up. He was really young, and then he switched his sound up to like the rage shit. But since then, he hasn't really developed that much. And so Tana blew up with the rage stuff, transitioned into this, and
Tana blew up with like rage plugin. He blew up with like a million sounds. I'm not gonna lie, like he could do everything.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying like there's not really any like underground sound left in his music right now. Like there's nothing that really like differentiates him from the rest of the underground right now.
And there's nothing that there's no part of him that resonates with the underground. I feel like another artist that this applies to as well is Young Fazo. And if you ever notice, like remember that song "Okay" he dropped?
Yeah.
And you know that was a song I used to always say, like, bro, if you heard this at a club or you heard this just out when you're out, you think it's just a cool song, right? But when you try to apply it in this underground scene, it doesn't really apply, right? Then he went on Blackboy Max's stream and he hopped on like a jerk beat, and sonically and everything it was exactly the same. But all of a sudden, people are like, bro, your Fazo was so hard just because it was a jerk beat. So that, you know, their brains were like, oh my god, I don't know. There's just like a couple of things. Like if something's trendy, everyone will just mess with you. So I guarantee you, if Tana dropped like a jerk-inspired album or something, like it would actually get a lot more love than what he's doing now. So I somewhat respect him for it. But I'm also like, you know, you're not gonna, you know, you might start falling off if you keep doing this.
He was just a child, and a lot of people in at least the grown side of the underground wasn't really messing with none of these kids anyway. And a lot of 2021 artists has died out now because we just don't really care for them. They're grown now. So yeah, when you were 16, that shit looked cute, but now you're a grown man paying taxes. Get out my face. Now let's make hard music. So at this point now, their whole aesthetic, all of them, Young Fazo and SJJ Kobe, the whole point of them were being 16, 17, 14, 15 years old, and now they're 18 and 17 years old, and we don't give a damn. Now, everybody's going to say this is going to happen in Netspin. I don't really think that's going to happen in Netspin, because Netspin is being mysterious. Now, the thing with being mysterious, it preserves your career as well, and you age very fast as the times go on. Just look at Cardi. Like, Cardi does not even look like the same dude from 2020. He looks like they're two different people. Like, and I'm seeing the same thing for Netspin. Once he made that Triller, that was the most childish thing he's ever done. And I thought he was just gonna die out like a Maddox and like a Tana as well. But him being mysterious, And then I saw the music video, Nothing Like You. Those look like two different kids. They're the same age, but they look like two different people. It's because Netspin is carrying himself like a grown man. He's driving an SRT and he's probably 5 foot. I'm gonna be honest. I don't even think he could touch the pedals. So like, to be honest, like, whoa, like you're moving grown. Like, bro, you're moving grown. And then he's DMing IG models, let's make art. Hey, that was kind of, I take that now. I'm using that for all the DMs. Any DM big booty I'm DMing now. I'm using that. I'm doing let's make art. He has more of a, I don't know, his lore is way better than Tana's and Mad Ox. While those two are definitely bigger because of their image and how they were kids, this kid moves way different from both of them. And I like it. And he's actually way more mature than Tana and Mad Ox. He was older as they blew up. Like Netspin at the age that he blew up was older than Mad Ox and Tana. Tana blew up at 14, Mad Ox blew up at 12, and Netspin blew up at the age of 16, 17 years old. So for the most part, he moves more like a grown man than both of these dudes. And that's why I'm kind of liking Netspin more. And he's like, you know, I don't know, he's more masculine. That's crazy as that sounds. He is way more masculine. He's pressing niggas, he's slapping your rage. That Hawaiian XX Tentacion, he's like, he really moving like a boss. And as crazy as it sounds, he's better than Tana. He's better than Osama-san. I already told y'all that like last year. But like, yo, real trill, like, yo, he's better. And I don't think Tana can be that guy now. As much as he wants to be this young thug dude, bro, like the way kids be inspired, it's not like how a grown man's inspired. You don't take the whole track and rap on it on a different beat. You either take the cadence, you take the flow, you take the beat, or you take something, or the flow. You take something off the track. You don't take the whole track. That's like some Drake type shit. I'm gonna be honest. That's culture vulture. Like, bro, where are you? And I know you're from Atlanta, but you have your own sound already.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, we had this conversation in a recent video about how like the people who blew up off that TikTok scene 2020, 2021, like the Sofagos and, you know, the Young Chris's and the Tanas, like he was one of the examples that they gave back then. It's like they had huge numbers, but no core fan base. Like that's why the underground right now is so different. Like you have Netspend and Osama-san, like they haven't even touched numbers that were even close to what Tana had at his peak with like Antisocial and stuff like that, but they have more of like a real fan base. Like I bet they could sell out a show way easier.
And all of Tana's old fans are their fans now.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know, he's just in a weird position. He was kind of like the grandfather, which is weird that you can be a grandfather at 17, but he was like the grandfather forefather to like this current underground, bro. Like, I don't know. Yeah, but literally though, like.
And I don't even mean by like they were inspired by him, because people like Netspend, Xavier Sobeist, Yapo JJ are way more like cultured, I would say, and they've been in like this SoundCloud scene way longer. I just think that Tana brought in so many people, almost like,
yeah, he like made the scene. He like
funneled them through. Him and everyone else around him.
Yeah, like that era kind of like created this current underground that we have now. But I mean, that's always how it's gonna go. But
what's also ironic is a lot of people say that about Young Thug in Atlanta and how he wasn't as commercially successful as people like Gunna, you know, which is just kind of like a funny, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like the most influential person is never the most successful. Like the first is never the best.
I wouldn't say Tana is influential like that.
I don't know, but like the way they crafted the scene, like
that's the part. Yeah, you're right. You don't want to say anything, bro?
So for the most part, he was just lost and just trying a bunch of shit. And Netspin has a clear, direct path of what he's gonna do now. And I'm kind of fucking with it. I'm gonna be honest. Real. Yeah. So I love Tana, but I don't think he's fucking with Netspin for real. I'm gonna be honest. And I do believe Tana just needs to, you know, forget all these antics and just make good music, because I don't think you're blowing up, bro. I think you're done, and that's all right. You're already established in this space. It's cool.
All right. Yeah. So finally, did he fall off? Because that's what we came here for, right? So did he fall off, bro?
No, bro. Young Chris fell off.
Yeah, that's a fall off. Yeah, honestly, I can't even imagine what it would be like. Imagine like you're in high school, you're like a senior, you blow up, you think you're about to become a big rapper, and then like the year later, it's like, all right, back to 7-Eleven. But he's not gonna go back to 7-Eleven. Like he's gonna have a career for a while. But I mean, just like everything's gone. It's like it went away as fast as it came, almost, right? I wouldn't say he fell off either. I would just say he's on a downward trajectory. Does that make sense? Like he is like, you know, falling off to me is like you fall off like a cliff, either quality wise, popularity wise. I don't think Tana fell off either. He might even be above the underground now. Like I would say if he got another hit on TikTok, he wouldn't be associated with the underground. It would just, I don't know. I feel like once you are in this scene, underground fans will always come at you and always be there for you. Kind of like, you know, Dom Corleo had separated himself from this underground stuff such a long time ago, but people will still post about him because he used to be so hated. So I guess he was just like, bro, I'm done with this. Like, I'm gonna just do my own thing, and he ran it up, right? I feel like none of the people will still talk about Dom Corleo, kind of, even though he's not really in it at all. You know what I mean? But anyways, yo, where'd you go? Right now? All right. I'm gonna go. Bye. See you. Yo, say bye.
Bye.
All right, bye.